Brought to you by GatewayCitySavers.com.
101 ESPN.
Well, it's my honor to welcome into the studio today here in Creve Coeur, Bandana's Barbecue Studio, the Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, Rick Horton, John Mabry, got a left-handed bat, a left-handed pitcher, and the greatest shortstop of all time. Not a bad combination here, huh? What do you think?
This is pretty neat. You know, it's not too often we get to spend a whole lot of time together with the guys that you played with, and I hadn't seen Mabry in a long time. And, you know, people always ask me, they say, well, who are some of the guys you enjoyed playing with? Of course, Willie comes to mind, Jack comes to mind, and Keith, and, of course, Ricky Horton. But one of my favorites was John Mabry.
Why is that? Just the way he went about his business?
The way he went about his business. He was one of those guys that had a smile on his face every day. He worked hard, gave you what he had. Wasn't very fast. Couldn't run a lick. But we had a lot of fun, and it was he and Sweeney were two guys that you always enjoyed seeing when you walked in the clubhouse.
Well, wait a minute. I got to stick up for my guy over here. He stole 7 bases in 14 years.
See that?
In 14, he stole 7?
He stole 7.
My apologies. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John.
He's got 5 already this year. So. Why are you on me, Rick?
Rick Horton,
how did you have? I'm not one of John Mabry's favorite guys. I can tell you that right now. But you know, it is. It's fun to be together with guys like this, Bernie, because you know we're kind of like a family and always will be kind of deal. And so, as Oz said, we don't always see each other a lot, but when we're together, you know, you think of the stories and the times and the teams and the games and the, you know, important moments in the career. And it really is like a reunion of sorts.
John Mabry, we're watching the Cardinals now going through some hitting problems. They're 11th in the National League in runs. And Tony switched his lineup. He's done some dramatic things. It seems like they've tried everything. They have a new hitting coach. He's catching heat. What do you see when you're watching the Cardinals taking some of their bats? And what's the problem, number one? And number two, easy question to ask, hard one to answer. How do you go about fixing it? I mean, what's the remedy?
Well, that's a hard thing. They've got a block of guys there that get them out of the innings all the time. So they've had, Brendan hadn't been hitting real great from the start of the season. Skippy's been struggling. He's coming on a little bit now, and then they wedge that pitcher in between them. And there's one guy in the middle lineup where it would always get a rally going. They seem to kill it with an out here or there that would that extra out hurt you. So they're just going to have to keep battling. They stay in the strike zone a little bit more. They get a little bit over anxious at times. Albert goes out of his zone a little bit because he's trying to produce as much as he has been in the past, and guys haven't been on base in front of him, so he's trying to do it himself. And you got to stay within yourself and the framework of your offense. So I think time will straighten a lot of this stuff out. You know, it's very early in this season. They got 4 months left. These guys are so good that their numbers are going to be there at the end.
And I would ask John and Ozzie this, although Rick, I'm sure you had some base hits, but I'll ask the hitters for now. But you can weigh in on this too.
He was a good hitter.
The number one key to good hitting is it having a sound strike zone? Is it having the plate discipline?
It's having a good idea of the strike zone and learning to stay, as John said, trying to stay in the strike zone, and you have to go back to fundamentals. And the fundamentals are being able to see the ball out of the pitcher's hand and trying to hit the ball back through the middle. And if you do that keeps you on the ball and you stay on it a little bit longer. You know, we have a tendency sometimes to get a little over-anxious. And so you start wandering out of the strike zone, and before you know it, if you don't – and here again, that's one of the jobs of the hitting instructor, I think, to let you know when that is. To me, the real job of a hitting instructor is to find out what a guy's tendencies are and be able to identify that right away so that when things do start going wrong, he's able to get them back on track. And I'm sure that that's one of the challenges that Mark is experiencing right now, figuring all the guys out, what their tendencies are, and then being able to help them get back on track quickly, because we all have a tendency to get off. It's being able to turn that around and get back on quickly.
What's interesting about what Ozzie's saying, that's the job of the hitting coach to help fix it. It's the job of the pitcher to identify it and exploit it. And I think some of that's going on right now, where you see pitchers understanding that they're Cardinals over-anxious, as these guys are saying. So you expand the zone a little bit, and you use that to your advantage. And I think that word's getting around right now.
John, when you would get in a slump, so did you try to work your way out of it? I mean, was it a thing where you just go take batting practice, more batting practice, more batting practice? How did you deal with these things? Because the mental pressure has got to be the worst part of it.
That's probably the biggest thing, is the mental pressure. You want to try to go back to zero every at bat, where you don't let that anxiety build and build, especially when you're in a slump, because things get magnified on you and the game speeds up on you, and you can't slow yourself down enough to stay in the strike zone, stay within your strengths as a hitter. So whatever your strengths are as a hitter, you go back to those basics, which is, number one, seeing a strike and trying to hit it hard and put it in play hard. Whether your base is, left center, right center, whichever side of a hitter you are, try to stay to your strength and go to that strength and stay in that zone and try to get real simple with what you're doing and try to work the mechanical issues out if they're mechanical. And if you got some mental issues going, you just you keep plugging away and try to fix those as quickly as you can.
That's a good point. Thanks to you, gentlemen. Great having you in here.
Nobody covers St. Louis sports better. 101 ESPN.